What's your beliefs on the unknown if you don't actually believe in the unknown?
I definitely believe in the unknown, and I think the root of all of this is the question of truth. What is truth, and is it possible for us as humans to actually ever get to a real truth? At the heart of science, this is a continuous dilemma that keeps on coming up and keeps on troubling atheists like I.
With this question of the unknown, it can be pulled apart in two places. It's we know what we don't know, or we know that we don't know. It's not we're claiming we know everything. It's saying that we found Jesus, and Jesus is teaching us of what we don't know. And that's where I come into my faith, where I've accepted, I don't know, but I've decided to lead or lean on the Holy Spirit to teach me the unknown.
And Charlotte, what's the unknown look like in your religion?
So I wouldn't say that I have a religion, but I think I stand by like a moral compass with a lot of philosophy. I think for me, my belief system really comes from really sort of specific situations that have landed in my path. So your path is already written. And so that's why sometimes you can sense what you are, and you feel déjà vu sometimes because you've chosen that path for yourself before.
A Christian centuries ago, Thomas Cranmer, he says, what the heart loves, the will chooses, and the mind justifies. We have all of these things we want to be true. And a lot of the time, we kind of map on an explanation after the fact. I think, I don't know, that this is potentially what the Christian worldview could be, what astrology could be about. It's about things that we already wanted,
But isn't that what
and
the
then we
purpose
justify
of,
them after the fact.
Isn't that what the purpose of science does from the beginning? Science never gets to the thing before it actually happens. So science just explains after the fact of an occurrence that's already occurred.
Yeah.
But the difference is science is detached from human emotions. Science is experiments that are quantifiable.
So I just wanted to get your opinion on what you think about that. Not that I think that you feel that emotions aren't important, but I almost feel like they should be counted as something that's quite important in terms of our intelligence of knowing the afterlife or knowing anything that's esoteric, basically.
Would I rely on my emotions to decide how I'm going to interact and treat you guys today? Yes, of course. Would I rely on emotion to prove or disprove gravity? No, I wouldn't. And the thing is that there are different types of truth, right? There are contingent truths that rely on something else to be true and that could have not been true in this universe. So I'm wearing blue jeans, that's a contingent truth. It could have not been true. Then there are necessary truths. This is something that is true in every universe. Using these necessary truths, they cannot be otherwise. It is the case that a triangle always has three sides. To say otherwise is illogical. Yeah. So we need to hang on to these things as much as possible and use necessary truths to work out how the universe exists. But here's the problem for the atheist, me, is that these truths and science can't explain everything. I completely accept that.
This is where atheists like stop me a bit. Like, no, not in like a negative way. It's just like sometimes when you hear them, not like them, but it's, it's like you guys talk about the world like it's very black and white.
Yeah, like it's
very like monotone almost, but not in a negative way. I think it's because of how obviously I think of the world, but I find it quite like.
But I feel like I'm explicitly not thinking about the world in a black and white way. And you guys are, because you're putting forward solutions. I'm not here. So you're saying my worldview is correct. This is black and white. You're saying my worldview is true. I'm not doing that. So you guys have the burden of proof here.
Yeah, I mean, I have to have a solution. I think everyone has to have a solution, because the thing is that I understand where you're coming from, where you're saying, okay, but it has to have a proof. But I have an emotional proof that my mom loves me. I don't have a measure of how she loves me. So that's why I find it difficult with the way that you will explain where you're coming from and how science is explaining certain things, because even with science, it explains quantum physics. Even in Buddhism, we talk about quantum physics a lot. And a lot of psychic readers use quantum physics to actually be able to understand the laws of the universe. So this is why I feel like sometimes with atheists, I understand it. It is more like, okay, I need something in front of me, but then if I come and say, how do I measure my mom's love? do I come back with like a diary of things that she's done? But then you'll be like, yeah, but she's not done that for you. So how do I measure those things?
We all have different understandings of love. And to bring it back to the base of the question, this conversation of the unknown, I think what me as a Christian, I do is understand that there is an unknown. My unknown does not need to be proven, but evidenced. Proof and evidence is completely different. I can't prove that your mom loves you, but I can evidence it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Even in a court of law, I could say that you was in a murder scene and I can prove you were there, but my evidence says I was somewhere else. Does that say I didn't do the crime?
Yes.
Nobody knows. Does that make sense? So this question of truth has nothing to do with proof. Does that make sense?
We both agree on the fact that it's very hard to get to a bedrock of truth without certain assumptions of how the world works. The problem is that your worldview explicitly professes to know the truth and for God to be truth. Mm-hmm. Then we have to look at the world that we see and ask, what do we think the world would be like if God did exist? For me, the world I see in front of me right now is not one in which there is an omnibenevolent, omniscient, omnipresent God.
What do you think about UFOs? Sorry, like, because I've met atheists that believe in UFOs. So I'm just kind of interested, do you believe in, or like aliens or anything?
I mean, I'm open to the possibility. I'm all game, but...
Like Area 51, is it called Area 51? Yeah. Is it called in America? Like, do you believe in that stuff or?
I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough to give an informed answer, but I'm highly skeptical, especially most of the places where these UFOs are sighted. It seems like it's just a bunch of Americans that kind of want to have a bit of a laugh.
Charlotte, you mentioned your parents a lot. Is it that your background and the things in your face has shown you this and you think this is the way?
Do you know, the only way that I can really explain it is that the way that I'm built, my DNA holds all of the history of my ancestors. So the way I am, if we go hundreds and thousands of years back, that is the reason why I believe in the things that I do. And yeah, you can bring in stuff that I've seen, for example, like my mom praying all the time, my mom throwing milk to the stars and saying that, oh, that's why I believe in those things. But to be honest, I think, yeah, as humans, like, we're predisposed to feeling some type of way, believing in some type of way, but it courses through our blood and DNA.